It. I promise that it is. But yeah. So first off, this is how I always start off. So I basically tell everybody else, welcome everybody to the NFS podcast. I hope you were having a great day and you're doing something to push you forward in your life, whether it's with your family, your friends, your business, any of that stuff. I hope you're at least doing something today. One thing that's going to at least push you a little bit further. Now, you guys should already know by now, if you've listened to the podcast, that, I don't charge anything for this. It's completely free. I don't want to put ads or nothing like that. But if you could do me a favor and just drop, share it to one other person. If you share it to another person, we keep on growing, we double up, and we just keep on going more and more and more. And if there's something that you find useful in this, chances are that there's somebody else out there that, feels that too. So, go ahead and do that. Now, without further ado, now that the introduction is done and out, this is now my second guest that I've ever had on this show now, and it's kind of because I just told him, hey, come outside, we're going to record something, and he has no idea exactly what we're going to get into, but I'd like to introduce my dad. You could pretty much just like ignore that the camera's there. I know it's kind of hard to do, but no, I just kind of wanted I wanted to get you on the podcast for a long time, but I've just never asked because I'm like, you've clearly done a lot in your life. You've built all of this for the most part. And you've done a lot of cool stuff, some interesting stuff, but you've also gone through a lot of shit. And I know that I've put you through a lot of stuff too. So I thought it was worth having you on as somebody that, from the, a different perspective of life, I guess. But, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm supposed to be hunting, but I guess I'm here right now.
Yeah. Was it snowing?
Not yesterday, but a few days ago, I did a little bit.
I know. I got a buddy, or at least somebody that goes to my work, and he was talking a lot about hunting and stuff like that. And I told him that you go out hunting, and I explained to him how you hunt, and he's like, nah. But he said he's gonna hike from what's by Kennedy Meadows? Is it Yosemite?
No, Sonora Pass.
Sonora Pass. I think he said he's gonna go from like whatever big like national park out there and hike to Kennedy Meadows, and he says it's gonna take him about 3 days of just backpacking.
Oh, he's going then into the wilderness to Yosemite Park then.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. But no, when I told him kind of how you go hunting, he's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
That's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to give them a chance, not just wait in the truck and shoot it for the dog.
I mean,
You're supposed to do the work in the home.
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the way to go, and not just like being lazy, I guess.
Well, it's a different way to see life, but I figure, if you do something in life, you gotta focus, you gotta put the time, and eventually everything comes together, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the way I see life. Nobody gives me anything, hand to me, so I had to work for it. And I'm in the position there I am right now. It's the hard work. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think I know. I don't talk to you too much about this when I talk to you, like talk about you outside of, I guess here or at all. Because I know that we do something similar like this at work every once in a while. We haven't done it for a while, but I forgot what the conversation was. But I was basically, one of my coworkers was talking about their dad and stuff like that, and then I was talking about my dad, and I basically said, he's like you basically taught me it's like you have to work hard, but you also have to work smart, because anybody can just go and like just work hard and like kill themselves for like whatever amount of time. But if you don't do it right, like it's not gonna be done right. Like you just keep, chipping away at the same thing. But if you're not using the right tools, you're not gonna get anywhere. And that like I've tried to take that, probably haven't done as best of a job as you did, as you have at, when you were my age, but it's cool to see. For those of you that don't know, when did you come to the U.S.? How old are you?
I was about 18 years old, and I was in 1990.
Was that the first time that you came? Was when you were 18?
One time I came over here, and then I stayed here.
And then you're stuck.
That's it.
But it's like so you came when you were 18. So then you have your brothers and your sisters. You're like the middle child, so it's like, you have your older brothers and your younger brothers and sisters that came. And then you just came straight to Turlock, no?
No, I came this first time I got here. I got Thompson, little
Mhm.
town by Sears, and then from there we moved to Turlock, and then pretty much that's when I came over here and bought this place.
Yeah. That's why everybody just stays in Turlock though, because
That's where we came, and most are my brothers and sisters. They just try to stay close to, I guess, our parents, and you know that's where we are right now. Everybody, like 30 minutes away, pretty much.
yeah, for the most part.
So,
So
yeah.
so how was it trying to get here? Because that's always an interesting conversation.
How was it?
Yeah. Because I'm sure it wasn't just you came in, you walked in, you got here, and you're like, well, shit, I made it.
No, first of all, in the first place, I don't want to be here. They brought me here, which is the case of a lot of people, a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing fine. I was, comfortable the way I was living up there. So then you got here, different culture, different language. You have to adapt to it, which is hard in the beginning. And you really don't have purpose, really to be here when they brought you that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't choose to be here.
And I mean, if you're 18, you pretty much had, like, at least like in some sense, you were already kind of like set up to go do like your thing.
Well, when you grow up the way I grew up, this is a different story. You guys I pretty much handed to you guys, what I didn't have at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I had to work for it really, really hard. Up there, they make you grow up fast. So you really don't have time, to be a kid. So either you work and bring food to the table, and you suffer. That's the true story to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So what that happens is you have to grow up. So, and that was my case. My dad came over here, then my brothers. My brother take over the family. Then my dad brought her over here. Then I had to take over the family. At the age, 14, 13 years old. You're responsible of 7, 8 kids. Your mom. That's tough. But it make you grow up faster too. So really, you're not really scared to do anything, I guess, in life, because you kind of already went through what you're supposed to be, your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't. So you kind of appreciate. You kind of want to be somebody in life, and that's what you're trying to teach your kid. There is a different world there. That people have to work hard, and when you do have an opportunity, you kind of take it and don't waste time thinking about it. You just go for it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm here.
So when do you think, like, if you could pick, like, what's it called? Oh shoot. I need to fix this real quick. All right, sick. I fixed it. That's annoying. So yeah. So when do you think you like? When is the youngest where you just started to work? Because I know I've heard stories and stuff like that.
The youngest?
Yeah.
Well, since I remember, in our family, there was no time, the place where we were born and we grow up, there was not really a reason to go to school because you're not going to be able to use any of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the middle of nowhere where there was no light, no power, no electricity, no nothing. So really the focus was just, to work. And that was the type of life that we kind of grow up. And, as soon as you can walk, you had something to do, whether to carry an animal or my case was, as soon as that I remember is, my dad used to go on the fields and grow whatever you got to grow for the whole year to be able to get food on the table. So they used to go really early in the morning, and I had to be there with their lunch, in between, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning for them to eat breakfast, and then just stay there to help them out and then go home at the end of the day. That's how you started, your day. And then, you started getting older and you started getting more responsibilities, and that's pretty much about it. There was not, like we had a other choice to do. That was just something that had to be done. That's the way we grew up. That's the way, there was nothing else really to think about it.
Mm.
So it's not like you had a lot of choices, so not much tools, not much toys for a kid to play. You had to make your own toys, a rack or whatever. That was your toy. Because you really didn't have, time to mess around either, too. You always had some responsibility to do. So that was kind of, our life and a lot of people's life in those remote areas where there's no civilization, I guess. Then you come to the real world and you kind of lost for a little bit, but then, eventually you catch up, I guess.
So let's fast forward a little bit then. You grow up, you come here, how was the transition coming here? I mean, clearly you've made it clear that you didn't want to come here in the first place, but it had to be done. So when you got here and you were officially settled in, this is my new home, how was that? Because I know, I mean, that, times were kind of different back then.
Well, in the beginning, I always wanted to go back. And because I was, when I was up there, like I was telling, I used to work for my money. I used to work for my clothing, my everything. So then you get here and you really don't know what to do. You got your dad, your brothers older than you, and they hand it to you $5-10, whatever they can afford to give it to you when you're not used to it. When it was the opposite, you were used to give to your civilians. So it was a pretty rough, situation. But like I'm saying, we always try to get the family together, and that was part of your grandma. That she could have easily, moved in this country when I was just like a year old, mm-hmm. and left us up there like a lot of families. But she chose not to do that. She chose to, keep the family together. And that's the reason, I guess, I decided to stay here. And then, of course, then I meet your mom. And that makes little things, I guess, better, I guess.
Changes things a little bit.
Interesting, I guess.
I've been telling people, because I'm growing out my hair right now a little bit, because I want to for the race. And I just tell people that, my dad's bald, so this is my one shot to grow it out. And when they ask me, they're like, well, why? I was like, I don't know. My dad just says when he met my mom, that's when he started losing hair. So it's about that age. So I'm like, let's just keep going.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, and you just got to live with it, It's nothing like you really can do about it, when you start losing that stuff. It's a lot more important things in life to worry about it.
Yeah.
Not see people, missing a leg or this and that. That's the real challenge. The hair is just, I don't know. People worry too much about physical, things. But going to the point, how do I get adopted here? So, I got to the point when I said, okay, if when you grow up in small towns in a different country where you don't really have, that much opportunities, then you do see life, different in a different country. So then you have to make a choice. Do I really want to live the way I was living in my country? or do I want to change my life for a better or for the worse? So I kind of chose, to hopefully, working hard and be responsible, I would be able to give you guys a better life, I guess. I'm not, complaining of the way I grew up. I kind of appreciate, because then, that kind of give me a lot of knowledge and appreciate a lot of different things that people doesn't appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Like family and a roof over your head, which in this country, really a lot of people don't appreciate that, because most, a lot of people, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, they've been handed to them. So they don't even have an idea, really what is to work and, have something like that. And that's something I've been trying to teach you guys that, in life, it's a lot of opportunities. It all depends on you, how you want to live your life. You want to, decide to, live better than the way I do it. That's going to be your choice. If you want to live worse, that's going to be your choice too. So, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that, there's a lot of tools in this country that you can use to be a better person and to, help other people to do something with their life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always try to do, I work and everywhere, if I can help somebody. I'm not saying about money or anything like that. You can give them an advice. It's a lot of different ways to help people. And I think, we all can do that.
I mean, you helped DC when you showed them how to plant a tree. I think I talked about that on a different episode, but for those of you that listen to know DC, my dad has the greenest thumb that I've ever seen in my life. Like, not like physically, because that'd be weird, but like he can make anything grow. And so we were here in the backyard. I think me and DC had just finished up a workout, and then you came out and you were like replanting something or repotting something. And he just blew his mind because I think it's called like germination. I learned that from somebody, but where you took a branch off another tree, you had a branch grow, basically wrapped it in mud with a plastic bag until like it started to grow its own roots, then proceeded to amputate it and then plant it into another pot. And so there's trees of that he's made. Yeah,
right there.
There's one right over here. And just it's fascinating, but like nobody taught you that.
No, you just, like nowadays it's not rocket science. You just go to Google and you find everything in there. So, but, like I'm saying, it's part of the, be able to learn, to be a person that can listen and learn from everybody.
Mm.
So I always like to do that, I'm not a genius. Nobody's a genius, Everybody gets to one point, listen to other people, not by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of helps a lot. If you're that type of person, you can listen. And I think that's a big thing in the life of everybody, to listen.
I think that's like, that alone, especially because, I mean, clearly we have very different backgrounds in how we grew up. Either way, you're a part of both of those. But it's like that thing where you're just like, just listen is what I always hear from all like the entrepreneur stuff, like all like the business people and like the high execs and all that stuff that I'm able to talk to. And like just that alone, just like listen to what's going on is what people just seem to have the hardest time understanding. And I know I have a hard time understanding because clearly I do not listen all the time. But like, yeah, that alone is literally that's like what people pay tens of thousands of dollars to just try to understand. But I think it's just like you've in some sense like just mastered it, where it's like you're able to pick up on things and understand situations or like what's going on and just like run with it extremely well. and just kind of like, take the lead on that. It's never like nothing gets thrown at you, and I don't ever, unless it's like blood, like nothing gets thrown at you and you're just like, you panic. Like you always are very like calm. You're just like, all right, let's figure this out, and you find a way about it. Like, and I've always admired that about you, and I've been trying, like, I try to figure out, okay, how do I have that same like calmness throughout everything that's going on, in some way too. That's why I go out and I do a lot of the like, I find that through like working out and a lot of the fitness stuff I do, like running crazy amount of miles or like doing these like dumb challenges or stuff like that, because I'm like, I want to put myself in a situation where I have to just kind of like shut up and listen, and like I don't necessarily have a choice. And that's the one way that I found works very well for me. And I think it's interesting because like with the people on the internet that like watch all the stuff that I do, I get a lot of people that are like, oh, that's crazy. Like, how do you do that? Or like, why do you do that? Or da 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 da. But at the end of the day, it's very simple. It's because like I'm trying to just figure out how to just, take in the situation for what it is and just be very present in the moment. And I find I can do it a lot better when I'm challenging myself. I think, with what you said, like growing up and stuff like that, you were pretty much just born into being challenged with everything. Because it's like you guys had to survive like that, and it'll be all right. Like you just had to survive. And I forgot what I remember when I was very little. Like I've never told you or anybody this really, but I remember it was very little where, a lot of like the other kids at school who also had like immigrant parents or stuff like that. And there was like, there's the divide because you guys came from just like straight survival, came to the country trying to figure stuff out. And then like you're making it work. And then like we're here and it's like, well, it's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different way, we raised and stuff like that because of where we are. And I remember just being very little and I'm like, just recognizing, I'm like, well, they came from like survival and we're going for like creating, it's different. Like we're not technically on like survival mode. I mean, not, clearly other people's lives they might be and stuff like that. But it's like I recognized that when I was very small and I'm like, how do I replicate something to just kind of like get that feeling? Because I want to just understand a little bit better. And I really won't unless I live in like a third world country in that same way. Cause like you can't get that appreciation just by thinking about it,
Yeah, well, to be able, you have to live, experience like that to be able to appreciate, and just for me telling you my story of the way I came over here, I know you're not going to understand it 100%, but you might,
get a little bit from
kind of get it a little bit, but it is really important. And then going back, why did I got here? Why did I decide to stay here? That's what I tell everybody. When we talk about it, about a lot of people get involved politics and stuff like that. So I don't like getting involved with that stuff. Like I tell everybody, a lot of people get real sensitive when they come with different stories, when new politics gets in, And I always tell people, you have to remember who you are, where you come from, and why you're here. Do you want to be, just like a random person, get here and live the same style you live in the country you came from? I always tell them, if you want to live like that, why you came over here? If you come to a different country, you have to adapt. You have to adapt to their culture. It's their rules, not your rules. So you hear, like I'm saying, like a neighbor, say the neighbor asks me, to go at their house. So I'm going to respect their rules. I'm going to respect their house.
Mm-hmm.
When I came here, so I decided to, do the same thing. Respect the rules and adapt. And it is tough in the beginning, but, eventually if you do want a different life for yourself and your family, you have to do that. you just can't go to a different country and keep living the same life, same type of life that you used to live. This is not for better. And that's what I focus, to have a family and hopefully, with the hard work, give them a better life that I had. And slowly, but I think I kind of did it for a little bit. So I think that's pretty much about it, for me. So, just work hard and appreciate everything in life. Family, the most important thing in life. That's it.
So, speaking of family, so how did you meet my mom?
How do I meet your mom?
Yes.
Well, back in those days, it used to be like I don't know, how do you call that in English, but they used to,
You can just say it in Spanish.
well, there was, they say grupos, that they came from your country to play music.
Mhm.
And that's how I got your mom. I went to this place, and whatever, she was right there. And
Oh, shit, you got to keep going.
that was it,
That's it?
That was it. Then she lied to me.
She lied to you.
Yes.
He's gonna post this.
Yeah, he's aware.
So that was it.
How did she lie to you? Because I know the answer.
How did she lie to me? Well, like I was saying, I came from a different culture and a different country, and I had my own way to see life. And I always say that I was not gonna, date a pocha girl, I guess that's what you want to call. and then she lied to me, and she was born in Zacatecas, Mexico. and I didn't know that until, I guess.
Yeah, how long did that take to know that it's like that she was born here?
How long?
Yeah.
I don't remember. But I remember, what it was meant to be is meant to be, I guess, because she gave me a number, and she gave me the wrong number, and I tried to call her a few times and it didn't work out. And then I was like, this is it. This is the last time I try it. Then I pitched a different number, and there you go. That was she was right there. And that
Really?
was it. Yeah.
So I didn't know that part.
And that was it, like I'm saying, when it's yours, it's yours, I guess. That's what they say. And that's how we are where we are right now.
So how long it's been, like 20, 25 years?
25.
25, 26, something like that?
25, 6 years. Yeah, something like that. And, then, we got together and we moved for a little bit. We lived, for a few years with your tia Silvia, and then we bought this house, and that's where you guys grew up. And we're still here.
What's it called? When I was talking to DC and Jimmy when they were here, I was telling them how, like, because I remember the old pictures of like how this was all grass and everything, right? Like the entire backyard is grass.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that are listening now the entire backyard is concrete, and there's a patio, and it's all done up very nice. We have planters and stuff like that. But like initially it was literally just all just grass, like a really big yard, I guess. And then you guys just built all of this.
Yeah, I did everything, little by little, spend $100 here, $100 there, and do it all myself. And it's done. We don't really enjoy it as much as we should, but
It's now become my office.
Pretty much.
It's now become just my outside workspace.
Yeah. Well, it's working for something. So. Yep. What else? That's it.
I know you're like Anson and you're good to go. No, I mean I think yeah, I just wanted to bring you on here because I mean I look up to you a lot. And I know I don't say it. I definitely don't say it enough or anything like that. Fabian probably does a hell of a lot better job than I do. But I also want to take this time to just like talk to you because like I enjoy talking to you and the conversations we have, even though they're not as frequent as I think I would like or you would like, But no, like I love you.
Well, it's just I love you too. It's just my problem is, I don't really like expressing my life or the way I think because then we go back to the same problem, a different culture, a different way to see life. And, but, I just, we don't really talk much about, a lot of things that we should talk because, since I decided to have family, I focus more and try to give you guys a roof over your head, food over the table, which, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing sometimes because you kind of focus more in, physical things for you guys and probably not spend a lot of time with you guys. But sometimes in life, you just can't do them all, You have to make mistakes. And it would have been nice, if you would have everything. I don't have to really work for things. Don't have to worry about it. But that was not the case. So I kind of concentrate a lot, and try to give you guys a better life and a better future. So, and plus, my things, I really don't do much, because I'm kind of person that I don't really show my emotions, there and that.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I keep everything to myself, which is not good, but that's who I am. And in one way, that kind of make you stronger, I guess. But I never show, anything to you guys that is going to affect you guys. I try to keep it to myself. And that's a good and a bad things, because sometimes you have to impress, not. You have to show your emotions, which I don't, it can be anything, and you guys always ask me why I'm so calm, why else, your mom, always, she cries for everything, and and, I'm not that kind of person, even though sometimes I do want to do it, but for whatever reason, I have to show it to you guys, that strong thing,
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think you're good. No, because I remember specifically, it was a little over 3 years ago, a conversation that we had when I was first with my ex-girlfriend, and that we had some troubles and stuff like that. And I remember like you saying specifically something about like emotions and just like that whole thing where it's like that you don't show your emotions very much or stuff like that, and that you thought you're like at some point like you would like to be able to, or to do whatever, but that it's like that's how you are. And then like when you told me that, like it made me want to just like focus a lot more on just like trying to figure out how I feel about things in those moments and just kind of expressing it a little bit better. That's part of the reason why I started all of this, so that I can actually have an outlet to just kind of like talk. because that's the only way that it works really well for me, is just like literally having a microphone and just like hearing myself and just like thinking about what I'm talking about while I'm doing it. Like for example, on my Nino's birthday the other day when I went to the cemetery, I got there. I just had a feeling that Sulema was gonna be there, and so I get there and then she's there and like we start talking and everything's good, da da da. And we were just like talking about like memories and all that good stuff. And then when they leave, I had brought all this stuff. Because I was like, I wanted to just record a conversation, and like it's not gonna go anywhere, but it works really well for me, of me talking like to my Nino, like almost like having like a one-on-one conversation like we are now. And like I was there and I was just talking and like it was cool because I just got to be like, hey, what's up? Like, I miss you, da da da. But then that's where it's like, when you told me that 3 years ago about like, basically, how you are with your emotions and stuff like that, I've just continued to try and find that outlet for myself because I know that I'm definitely the emotional out of the three of them. I'm probably the one that has like the highest emotional, just like stuff that goes on, which is kind of funny. But no, so I brought it out there and like I'm talking and just talking about like all my cousins and stuff like that and just kind of like updating them on like how life's going and stuff like that. And then it just all started, like I just started to cry just like really hard. And like it was almost like everything was like good. And then out of nowhere, just boom. And I was like, oh, well, I haven't done this in a very long time. But I think it was important for me because, again, everybody has the way they go about that. And you've found, I've seen it, to me, like you've found really great success with how you've gone about everything. And it is like the difference in I guess culture or like the way that we view life or stuff like that. But for like with what I'm doing and stuff like that with the brand and in this podcast and everybody we're reaching out to, like I know that I have to be open with my emotions in a sense. Because, when I'm talking to these people or I'm trying to like tell this story or this message, it's important that like they feel exactly how I feel in that moment, because that's the only reason that they care, is because they relate to it on more of an emotional level. And I think it's done pretty good so far. It's been interesting. Sold a couple t-shirts, sold a couple sweaters. But I think it is. I took that very much to heart when you had that conversation with me. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I work on that for myself, and not let it be where it's like just emotions are running everything, and then I let it just be like, oh, like you said, just cry over everything or get angry over everything, or like just let it run as like hard as it can, because that's not a good thing either. Just to let your emotions like take control of every situation. But no, like I try to listen.
Well, it's like I was telling you, it's really hard, like for a person like myself to tell you, to express your emotion when I don't do it. Mm-hmm. I get that from everybody. Like your mom, she always tell me that. My sisters, everybody, that I'm a really, quiet and person that I never show, any emotions, I guess. But doesn't mean that we don't have it there. Mm-hmm. It's just the way you grow up in life. The way we grew up in life, showing those emotions, it was not going to take you anywhere. You have to be tough. You have to be that tough person to get that respect. And when you grow up like that, it just, once you take that, it's really hard for you to just let it go. Mm-hmm. Because it's like the DNA in your body. You have to be that person that doesn't show that side. Mm-hmm. And doesn't mean that you don't feel, the pain. Doesn't mean that you don't care. It's just who you are, who you grow up. And that's, sometimes it works for good, and sometimes it just take you apart, for a lot of people, because you don't show them, that side.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't take it well. That's the reason you very well know. I don't really have that much, really don't have friends that I go out because my family, that's my friend. My family is my home. That's what I want to be. That's what I'm always be here. I don't want to. I don't want to spend all the time finding something that I have in home.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I don't show it all the time, but I'm here. You guys know I wouldn't be here if I'm not hunting. So besides that, I'm always here. Just work and be here for you guys for whatever I can do. That's pretty much who I am.
Well, I think you've done a great job.
Well, I hope so. I hope so that I'm just trying to do the best I can. Like I told everybody, nobody teach you how to be a parent. Nobody teach you how to, become somebody. But you have to, like I was telling in the beginning. The way I see life is, if you're doing well in life, why not help another person at work, anything. That's what I told my people that I got working under me, If you're doing good in life, why not helping the next person next to you start, stepping over it and trying to push them down. So I think that's how we can get something better in life, for somebody else. Not necessarily, handing things to people. Yes, give them an advice or be there when they need you. And that's about it.
So no, I think that's a good place to stop.
That's it.
Well, I guess thank you for thank you everybody for listening to another episode. Again, make sure to share this with somebody or tag it or do any of that stuff. But and most importantly, thank you, Pa, for being on the podcast. I know this is very outside of your comfort zone.
Especially in English when you don't know that one.
I know. But you did really good. But I love you.
Love you
Thank
too.
you. That's all, guys. Later.